It was a crisp December evening, the kind where the world seemed to sparkle with the magic of the holiday season. The streets were a lively blur of twinkling lights, carolers singing familiar tunes, and families hurrying by with bags full of gifts. Yet, amidst this festive chaos, a quiet corner told a different story. A little boy, Sam, sat on the cold stone steps of an old building. His coat was too thin for the freezing weather, and his patched-up shoes barely kept his feet from the icy pavement. Sam's eyes were fixed on the bustling street ahead, but his thoughts were elsewhere. He was remembering Christmases past, ones filled with warmth, laughter, and the loving presence of his parents. Those memories now felt like a distant dream. A year ago, his world had been shattered by a devastating car accident that took his parents' lives. Since then, he had been living with a distant relative who treated him as an unwelcome burden. Across the city, another figure was preparing for an entirely different kind of holiday. Tom Cruise, the Hollywood icon known for his thrilling movie roles, had decided to embrace the spirit of giving in a deeply personal way. He had been inspired by stories of people stepping into the roles of everyday heroes, and he wanted to do something meaningful. This wasn't about publicity or cameras. It was about making a real difference in someone's life. Tom spent weeks planning his holiday mission. He collaborated with a local charity that identified children and families in need. But one name on the list stood out: Sam. The boy's tragic story, his resilience in the face of unimaginable loss, and his quiet determination to keep going despite the odds struck a chord with Tom. The evening was finally here. Donning a carefully crafted Santa Claus costume, complete with a white beard, red suit, and a twinkle in his eye, Tom set out into the city. He wasn't just playing Santa. He had taken the role to heart, immersing himself in the spirit of generosity and kindness. As he approached Sam's neighborhood, Tom's heart ached at the sight of the dilapidated buildings and the signs of hardship etched into the lives of the people there. But he reminded himself of his mission, to bring hope and joy, even if just for one night. Sam was lost in thought, gazing at the snowflakes gently falling onto the pavement, when he heard the sound of jingling bells. Startled, he looked up to see a man dressed as Santa Claus walking toward him. There was something unusually genuine about this Santa. The way he moved, the warmth in his eyes, and the kindness in his voice. "Ho, ho, ho!" Santa exclaimed, his deep voice echoing through the quiet street. "What are you doing out here on this cold night, my boy?" Sam hesitated, unsure whether to trust the stranger. "Just sitting," he replied softly. Santa lowered himself onto the step beside Sam, his large red coat creating a stark contrast against the cold gray stone. "Well, sitting is fine, but shouldn't you be somewhere warm, enjoying the holiday magic?" Sam shrugged, his eyes dropping to his lap. "There's no magic for me anymore." The words hit Tom harder than he expected. He took a deep breath, reminding himself to stay in character. "Oh, my boy," he said gently, "the magic of Christmas isn't just in lights and gifts. It's in hope, love, and believing that things can get better." Santa handed Sam a small wrap box. Sam looked at him in surprise before slowly unwrapping it. Inside was a beautifully crafted wooden toy car. It was simple yet elegant, and it reminded Sam of the toys his father used to make for him. Tears filled his eyes as he clutched the toy tightly. But this was just the beginning. Santa asked Sam to follow him, promising a surprise that would change everything. Sam hesitated, but found himself unable to resist the genuine warmth of this stranger. Together, they walked through the snow-covered streets to a nearby community center. Inside, the atmosphere was nothing short of magical. The room was filled with children and families laughing, eating, and exchanging gifts. Warm lights hung from the ceiling, casting a golden glow on the happy faces. For a moment, Sam felt like he had stepped into another world. Tom, still in his Santa disguise, watched as Sam's face lit up with cautious joy. But the night wasn't just about festivities. Tom had arranged for something far more significant. He had partnered with a charity to provide Sam with proper care, education, and a safe, loving environment. He ensured that Sam wouldn't just have a better Christmas, but also a better life. As the night went on, Santa shared stories with the children, including Sam. He spoke about the importance of kindness, the power of hope, and the magic that happens when people come together to help one another. Sam listened intently, his heart slowly filling with a warmth he hadn't felt in a long time. Before the evening ended, Santa pulled Sam aside and handed him an envelope. "Inside this is a little something to help you on your journey," he said. "But remember, the greatest gift is within you, the strength to keep going no matter what." Sam opened the envelope to find not just financial support, but also a heartfelt note. "Dear Sam, your story has touched my heart. You are a brave and remarkable boy. Never stop believing in yourself. Merry Christmas, Santa." As Tom left the community center, walking into the snowy night, he glanced back at Sam. The boy was smiling, surrounded by new friends, his eyes glimmering with hope. Tom knew that this was just the start of a new chapter for Sam, a chapter filled with opportunities, support, and love. This was no ordinary Christmas story. It was a reminder of the incredible impact one act of kindness can have on a life. Sam would never forget the night a mysterious Santa brought him hope, and Tom Cruise, the man behind the disguise, walked away knowing he had done something truly meaningful. As the frosty night deepened, the world outside seemed to quiet, but inside the community center, the festive energy was electric. Sam was still clutching the small wooden car Santa had given him, his eyes darting around the room. He felt overwhelmed by the warmth and joy that seemed to fill every corner. It had been so long since he'd experienced anything like this. Yet, amidst the laughter and lights, he couldn't help but feel a pang of doubt. Who was this Santa? Why had he taken such a special interest in him? Tom, disguised as Santa, watched from a distance. His heart ached for Sam, knowing the boy's trust had been eroded by the hardships of his young life. Tom wasn't just here to play Santa for one night. He wanted to prove to Sam that the world still had good people, that kindness could be real and transformative. But he also knew this wouldn't be easy. As the evening unfolded, Tom took extra care to make Sam feel seen and valued. He encouraged the boy to join a group of children decorating gingerbread houses and cheered him on as he built a small, slightly lopsided masterpiece. For the first time in months, Sam laughed, a real, carefree laugh that lit up his face. Tom felt a surge of emotion, realizing how rare such moments must have been for the boy. But the night was far from over, and Tom had planned something even more extraordinary. He wanted Sam to feel not just hope, but also a sense of wonder, a belief that even in the darkest times, magic could find its way into one's life. As the event began to wind down, Tom approached Sam with a mischievous twinkle in his eye. "Young man," he said in his deep Santa voice, "how about one more adventure before the night ends?" Sam looked at him hesitantly. "What kind of adventure?" Santa leaned in close and whispered, "The kind where you might just find the biggest surprise of all." Intrigued but cautious, Sam nodded, and Tom led him outside. The snow had stopped falling, leaving a glistening blanket of white under the streetlights. A sleek black SUV waited at the curb, its engine quietly purring. "Hop in," Santa said, opening the door. Sam hesitated. This was the moment when his trust would be tested. But something about Santa's eyes, the kindness and sincerity behind the disguise, made him take a leap of faith. He climbed into the car, and they drove off into the night. The city lights blurred past the windows as they traveled to an unknown destination. Sam felt a mix of nervousness and excitement. "Where are we going?" he finally asked. "You'll see," Santa replied with a mysterious smile. The car eventually pulled up in front of a grand but warmly lit building. It wasn't flashy, but it exuded a sense of comfort and security. Santa helped Sam out of the car and guided him inside. The lobby was filled with people, staff members who greeted them warmly and children who looked happy and well cared for. "This," Santa said, gesturing around, "is a place where kids like you get a fresh start, a safe home, good food, and the chance to go to school." But more than that, it's a place where you can dream again. Sam's eyes widened as he took it all in. It felt too good to be true. "This is for me?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Santa nodded, kneeling down to meet Sam's gaze. "You deserve this, Sam, and more. Life hasn't been fair to you, but that doesn't mean it can't get better. You're stronger than you think, and there are people who want to help you succeed." Tears filled Sam's eyes as he tried to process what was happening. He had spent so long feeling invisible, forgotten by the world. Yet here was someone, a stranger, dressed as Santa, telling him he mattered. But Tom wasn't done yet. He wanted to honor Sam's late parents, knowing how much they meant to him. "There's one more thing," Santa said, taking Sam's hand and leading him down a hallway. They entered a cozy room where a small stage had been set up. On the stage was a beautiful Christmas tree, its branches adorned with ornaments and twinkling lights. Beneath the tree was a guitar. "I heard your parents loved music," Santa said softly. "This guitar is for you. I hope it reminds you of them and the joy they brought into your life. And maybe one day, you can use it to create your own music, music that keeps their memory alive." Sam approached the guitar, his hands trembling. He picked it up gently, running his fingers over the strings. For a moment, he felt like his parents were there with him, their love wrapping around him like a warm embrace. As the night came to an end, Tom knew he had done everything he could to give Sam a new beginning. But he also knew this was just the start of the boy's journey. Watching Sam smile, his face glowing with hope and gratitude, Tom felt an overwhelming sense of fulfillment. Back in the car, as they drove Sam to his new home, Santa handed him one last envelope. Inside, he said, is a promise that you're not alone, and that brighter days are ahead. Sam opened the envelope to find a handwritten note and a photo of himself with Santa from earlier that evening. The note read, "Asterisk, dear Sam, you are a remarkable young man. Never forget your strength, your resilience, and your ability to inspire others. Merry Christmas, Santa." Asterisk. For Sam, this night wasn't just a holiday miracle. It was a turning point. And for Tom, it was a reminder of the incredible power of kindness and the joy of giving. Together, they proved that even in the darkest moments, light can find its way through. The SUV came to a gentle stop outside a modest but inviting house. Snowflakes began falling again, dancing in the glow of the porch light. Sam peered out the window, his eyes wide with curiosity. The house looked warm and welcoming, its windows aglow with a soft golden light. Tom, still in his Santa disguise, stepped out and extended a hand to Sam. "Come on, kiddo. Let's take one last step for the night." Sam hesitated, but then grasped Santa's hand, feeling a surge of comfort in the firm grip. They walked up the path to the front door, where a woman in her 40s greeted them with a smile that radiated kindness. She introduced herself as Miss Clara, a foster mother who had dedicated her life to giving children in need a loving home. "Welcome, Sam," Miss Clara said, kneeling to his level. "This is your new home, where you'll be safe, cared for, and surrounded by love. We're so happy you're here." Sam's lips parted as if to speak, but no words came out. His emotions swirled in a mix of disbelief, gratitude, and nervousness. He had never expected something like this. Tom watched as Miss Clara invited Sam inside, taking him on a tour of the cozy house. Sam's room was small but perfect. A soft bed with a quilt, a desk by the window, and shelves waiting to be filled with books and toys. A beautifully wrapped present sat on the desk with a tag that read, "For Sam, from Santa." Sam turned to Tom, clutching the small wooden car Santa had given him earlier. "Why are you doing all this for me?" he whispered, his voice trembling. Tom crouched down, still wearing the Santa beard, but his eyes held a seriousness that made Sam trust him completely. "Because you deserve it, Sam. Life has thrown you challenges no one your age should have to face, but that doesn't mean your story ends here. This is just the beginning of a new chapter. You have so much to give the world, and now you'll have the chance to show it. Tears welled up in Sam's eyes, but they were different this time. These weren't tears of sadness or frustration, but of hope. He nodded, hugging the wooden car tightly as if holding on to the promise of a brighter future. As the night grew late, Tom knew it was time to leave. He didn't want to overwhelm Sam, and he trusted Miss Clara to guide him forward. But before stepping out into the cold, he turned to the boy one last time. "Remember, Sam," Tom said, "this isn't the end of the magic. It's the start of your journey. Always believe in yourself and the kindness of others. And when you're ready, pay it forward. You'll know when the time comes." Sam nodded solemnly, his young face now holding a glimmer of confidence and strength. "I will, Santa," he said softly. Tom stepped outside, the cold air biting at his cheeks. He pulled off the Santa beard as he walked back to the SUV, his heart full yet heavy. This was why he had taken the role, why he decided to bring joy and change into people's lives, one small act of kindness at a time. As the SUV drove away, Sam stood by the window, watching until the taillights disappeared into the snowy night. For the first time in as long as he could remember, he felt like he wasn't alone. The following days were a whirlwind for Sam. Miss Clara helped him settle in, and the charity Tom had partnered with ensured he had everything he needed: new clothes, warm meals, and school supplies. They even arranged for him to start attending a nearby school, where he quickly made friends and began to excel. One day, Sam opened the present from Santa that had been left on his desk. Inside was a journal, its pages blank but ready to be filled with his thoughts, dreams, and stories. On the first page was a simple note: asterisk, your story matters. Write it boldly, asterisk. Sam took those words to heart. He started writing in the journal every night, pouring out his feelings and capturing the moments that shaped him. Over time, he found that the act of writing helped him process his pain and rediscover his joy. Years later, Sam, now a confident and compassionate young man, would look back on that snowy Christmas Eve as the night everything changed. Inspired by the kindness he had received, he went on to create a foundation dedicated to helping children in need, just as he had been helped. And as for Tom, his Santa suit remained in a special corner of his wardrobe, ready to be donned whenever the world needed a little more magic. He never stopped spreading joy and hope, knowing that even the smallest act of kindness could ripple out to change countless lives. In the end, the story of a boy and a man disguised as Santa wasn't just about one Christmas miracle. It was a testament to the power of compassion, resilience, and the belief that no one is ever truly alone.